The scent of lavender and thyme filled our kitchen as I slid his favorite beef Wellington into the oven. 3 hours of cooking, a $200 bottle of French wine I'd saved for a special occasion, and even those macarons from the downtown patisserie, the ones he accidentally devours every time I buy them, for guests. Today, David finally got his promotion to Director of Development. 8 years he'd worked for it, and I knew this evening had to be perfect. I even took the day off to make everything flawless. Candles were ready to be lit. The pristine white tablecloth was perfectly pressed, and white roses, his favorite, the ones he gave me every anniversary, adorned the table. I slipped into that black dress, the one he once said made me look like a goddess. At 6:30 p.m., I called him, not to spoil the surprise, but just to hear the joy in his voice. But when he answered, there was no joy, only irritation. "Evelyn, I'm really busy," he snapped. "Look, I have to stay late. Urgent meeting with investors about a new project. I'll be home late. Don't wait up with dinner." My heart sank. "But David, today's a special day. Your promotion." "That's exactly why I can't leave early. I need to show I'm serious about this role. You understand, right?" I stood in the kitchen staring at the beautifully set table, feeling something cold settle inside me. Of course. Good luck with the meeting. He didn't even say thank you or sorry, just hung up. I blew out the candles, put the roses in a vase, covered the food, and stored it in the fridge. Then I poured myself a glass of that expensive French wine and sat on the couch with the remote. "Don't be upset, Evelyn," I told myself. "He's really busy, it's fine." But something gnawed at me. Maybe it was that he didn't thank me for understanding, or that there wasn't a hint of regret in his voice. Like I was just an obstacle to his success. Flipping through channels, I landed on the local news. The anchor was gushing about Aurora, a trendy new restaurant downtown. A place for the elite, she said. Celebrity chefs, $1 million interior, tables booked a month in advance. "Tonight we're showing you how the city's most successful people unwind." She beamed. The camera panned across the lavish dining room. Crystal chandeliers, marble tables, waiters in white gloves. I was about to change the channel when something caught my eye. In the corner of the screen, at a table by the panoramic window, sat a man who looked... No, it couldn't be. I leaned closer to the TV. The camera lingered on the table, showing a happy couple enjoying a romantic dinner. And then I saw his face clearly. David, my husband, the one who was supposed to be at an urgent meeting with investors. He wasn't alone. Sitting next to him was Victoria Stone, his new boss, the woman who joined the company a month ago and immediately took a special interest in my husband. Tall, elegant, with perfect hair and a smile that made men lose their minds. They sat so close their champagne glasses barely fit between them. She laughed, head tilted back, and he looked at her in a way he hadn't looked at me in months. Her hand rested on his eyes practically glowing with happiness. A lump formed in my throat, but it wasn't just pain. It was rage, cold, sharp rage. I grabbed my phone and started recording. The news camera panned across the restaurant, but I captured enough. David and Victoria, their laughter, their closeness, the way he gently brushed a strand of hair from her face. "Urgent meeting with investors," I whispered. "Sure." But I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't call him and make a scene. Instead, I did the smartest thing I've ever done. I waited. At 12:30 a.m., I heard his keys in the lock. I changed into loungewear, sitting on the couch with a book, looking like the dutiful wife waiting for her husband. David walked into the living room slightly disheveled. His tie was loose, his shirt wrinkled, and his hair carried a scent of perfume. Definitely not mine. "Hey, honey," he said, leaning to kiss my cheek. "Sorry I'm so late. The meeting ran long." I smiled as always. "No problem. How'd it go? Investors happy?" "Yeah, it was great. We discussed the new development strategy. Really promising project." He spoke easily, almost enthusiastically, like he believed his own words. "That's wonderful. Hungry? I made your favorite Wellington." "Oh, thanks, but we ordered food to the office. I'm good." He yawned. I'm gonna shower and crash. Big day tomorrow. I watched him climb the stairs, feeling something inside me break. Not my heart. That shattered when I saw him with her. It was my illusions, my trust, the naive Evelyn who believed his every word. And in her place emerged a different woman, colder, more calculated, definitely more dangerous. For the next 3 days, I researched. I dug into Victoria Stone. She wasn't just known for her professional success, but for getting close to promising employees. Her last 2 jobs ended in scandals over workplace affairs. I also learned David's company had strict rules against relationships between bosses and subordinates. Breaking them could mean not just termination, but serious reputational damage. Most importantly, I watched my husband. He'd changed, more attentive to his appearance, using a new cologne, buying expensive shirts. He came home later and later, his excuses growing more creative. Meeting with Japanese clients. Presentation for the board, leadership training. Each time I nodded, smiled, and said, "Of course, honey, I understand." At night, while he slept, I made my plan. On Friday, David announced an off-site meeting at a countryside hotel. He'd be gone all weekend. It's critical for my career, Evelyn. You understand, right? Of course, good luck. As soon as he left, I sprang into action. First, I went to a salon, new haircut, manicure, professional makeup. Then to a boutique where I bought a stunning red dress. Expensive, elegant, accentuating every curve. That evening, I went to Aurora. I knew they'd be there. I'd learned their habits, their favorite spots, their schedule. Every Friday, they dined at Aurora, thinking it was far enough from home and work to go unnoticed. I booked a table across the dining room with a clear view. Sunglasses and a book were my perfect cover. They arrived at 7:30. David looked relaxed and happy in a way I hadn't seen in months. Victoria wore a long, white dress, looking undeniably stunning. But the real show started when they thought no one was watching. Soft touches, lingering glances, quiet laughter. They acted like lovesick teenagers, not colleagues at a business dinner. I pulled out my phone and filmed. The quality wasn't perfect, but it was clear enough to show their faces and the nature of their relationship. The jackpot came when they moved to the terrace. Aurora's 10th floor terrace was secluded, and they clearly thought they were alone. They were wrong. I moved to the window and kept recording. What I saw exceeded my expectations. A passionate kiss, embraces, words I could read on their lips. I love you. Soon we'll be together. Just a little longer, and I'll get divorced. Divorced. So they were already planning a future with no place for me. I stayed another hour, gathering evidence. By the end, I had enough photos and videos to ruin not just their affair, but their careers. Sunday evening, David came home tired but smug. He rambled about a productive meeting and new opportunities for the company while I cooked dinner. "How was your weekend?" he asked, kissing my cheek. "Quiet. Read, cleaned, met with Sarah." All true. I had met Sarah, my lawyer friend who specialized in divorce. Good. You need a break. Such care, such understanding. If he knew I'd spent the weekend plotting his downfall, he wouldn't be so relaxed. Monday morning started as usual. David left for work, kissing me goodbye and promising not to stay late. I waited until he turned the corner, then got to work. First call, the HR department at David's company. Posing as a concerned citizen, I reported a breach of corporate ethics. "What kind of information?" the woman asked. "Inappropriate relationship between a manager and subordinate. I have video evidence." They asked me to email the materials. I sent the most damning photos and videos, with detailed notes on dates, times, and locations. Second call, a private investigator. I wanted more details. How long had this been going on, and were there other incriminating facts? Third call, my lawyer. Time to start divorce proceedings. That evening, David came home rattled. "Evelyn, something weird's happening at work. Internal security was in the office all day talking to people, reviewing files. No one knows what's going on." "Maybe a routine check," I suggested. Stirring pasta sauce? I don't know, the vibe's tense. Victoria seems especially worried. I looked at him carefully. Why do you notice how your boss looks? She's my direct supervisor. If something's up with her, it affects the team. Of course. Makes sense. I handed him a plate of pasta. I'm sure it'll clear up. Oh, it would. Soon. Tuesday morning, my phone rang early. It was the investigator. Mrs. Harrison, I have more information. Your husband and Miss Stone have been involved for 4 months. They dine at Aurora every Friday and spend weekends at the Grand Plaza Hotel in the next town. Also, last week they went on a business trip to Chicago together, though company records show Miss Stone was supposed to go alone. Thank you. Send me the full report. It's on its way. One more thing. This morning, I saw Miss Stone enter the office with a box. Looks like she's packing her things. So the process had begun. Perfect. Wednesday evening, David came home grim. Evelyn, I need to tell you something. I looked up from my book. What's wrong? Victoria, she resigned. Well, they told her to resign. Something about a breach of corporate ethics. What kind? He paused, choosing his words. Inappropriate relationship with a subordinate. With who? Another pause. He avoided my eyes. Me. I closed my book and looked at him. David, what are you saying? It's not what you think. What do I think? That we had an affair. Did you? He sat on the couch, not too close. Evelyn, I need to be honest. Yes, there was something between us, but it didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. I stayed silent, letting him dig deeper. She was persistent. Said she could help my career. I knew it was wrong, but I don't know how to explain it. Try. I felt underappreciated. Years of work and promotions came so slowly. Then she came along, beautiful, successful, and she saw potential in me. It was flattering. So, you slept with her? He flinched at my bluntness. Yes, but it was just physical. I never loved her. I love you. When did it start? 4 months ago. But Evelyn, I was going to end it. I knew it was a mistake. But you didn't. No. And now, I'm in trouble at work. They might fire me. I stood and walked to the window. David, do you remember what you told me Friday night? What? That you had an off-site meeting at a hotel. Yeah. Where were you really? He was silent so long I turned to face him. Panic was written on his face. How do you know? I know, David. I know about Aurora. I know about the Grand Plaza. I know about Chicago. I know everything. Evelyn. What hurts most isn't that you cheated. It's that you lied to my face every day. Every single day, David. I didn't want to hurt you. Didn't want to. What did you want? To live a double life? A wife at home and a mistress at work? No, I didn't know what to do. I was confused. Confused? I stepped closer. David, last week I saw you tell her you'd divorce me. Was that confusion too? His face paled. You followed me. I protected myself because I sensed something was wrong and my husband kept telling me I was paranoid. Evelyn, I can explain. Explain? Explain how you spent weekends in a hotel with another woman while I cooked your favorite dinner at home? I never wanted you to find out. That's honest. Finally. I sat back on the couch at the opposite end. David, I need you to know something. What? I'm the one who sent those photos to your company. His face went from pale to ghostly white. What? I followed you. I took pictures. I gathered evidence. And when I had enough, I sent it to HR. You ruined my career. No, David, you ruined your career when you decided to sleep with your boss. I just made sure the truth came out. He stood and paced the room. I can't believe this. My own wife. Your own wife what? Should have stayed quiet while you humiliated me? Pretended nothing was happening? You could have talked to me. Talked? About what? How you lied to me every day. How you planned to leave me for your mistress. He stopped by the window, his back to me. What do you want, Evelyn? What's your goal? I want a divorce. What? You heard me. I'm filing for divorce. Tomorrow morning. He spun around. Evelyn, wait. We can fix this. I'll cut contact with her. We can go to counseling. We can start over. No, David, we can't. Why? Because I don't trust you anymore. I don't respect you, and I don't love you. Those words came out quieter than I'd planned, but they were true. Somewhere in all this planning and investigating, my feelings for him had vanished, like love evaporated with trust. Evelyn, please, give me a chance to fix this. You had a chance every day for 4 months. Every time you lied, you could have told the truth. Every time you kissed me after being with her, you could have stopped. You chose to keep going. It was a mistake. No, David, a mistake is buying skim milk instead of whole. What you did was a conscious choice. Over and over, he sat back down, head in his hands. I've lost my job. Now I'm losing you. Yes. What about the house? Our things? My lawyer will contact your lawyer. We'll handle it civilly. You already have a lawyer? Yes, for a week. He looked up at me. You planned all this. I prepared to protect myself. There's a difference. Evelyn, I know I have no right to ask, but can we at least stay friends? I looked at the man I'd lived with for 8 years and searched for the one I'd fallen in love with. He wasn't there. Maybe he never was. No, David, we can't. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. I got the house, half our savings, and alimony for 2 years. David found a new job, but at a less prestigious company with a lower salary. Victoria Stone left town. Rumor has it she moved to another state where her reputation was still intact. And me. I sold the house and moved to a cozy downtown apartment with big windows and a park view. I switched to a more fulfilling job, enrolled in Italian classes, and started traveling. Friends said I'd changed. More confident, more independent. Some said colder. Maybe they're right, but I have no regrets. Betrayal taught me to value myself. It showed me I'm stronger than I thought, and sometimes the best thing you can do is let go of someone who doesn't value you. A year later, I ran into David at a downtown cafe. He looked older, tired. He asked to sit at my table. Hey, Evelyn, how are you? Good, thanks. I didn't invite him to sit, but he did anyway. You look happy. I am. He fidgeted with his coffee cup. I think about what happened between us a lot. And what's your conclusion? That I was an idiot. I lost the best thing I had. I looked at him calmly. David, you didn't lose me. You lost the version of me who was willing to overlook your lies. The woman who put your needs above her own. And you know what? I'm glad she's gone. I deserved that. Yes, you did. Evelyn, He paused, searching for words. I want you to know I've changed. I'm seeing a therapist, working on myself. That's good for you. Is there any chance we could try again? I finished my coffee and stood. No, David, no chance. Why? Because I'm not the woman who needs you to feel complete anymore. I've learned to be happy on my own, and that's the best feeling in the world. I grabbed my bag and headed for the door. At the threshold, I turned back. David, I wish you the best, truly, but our story is over, for good. 2 years later, I met Marcus in Italian class. He was divorced, with a grown daughter, and worked as an architect. We were friends for a long time before things turned romantic. You're so cautious, he said one day, like you're waiting for me to betray you. Maybe I am, I admitted. I'm not like that. How do I know? Time will tell. And he was right. Time did tell. Marcus was a man of his word. He never lied, even about small things. He welcomed me into his life fully, introduced me to his daughter, his friends, his colleagues. He was an open book. But most importantly, he never tried to change me. He accepted my strength, my independence, my caution. He understood I'd been through betrayal and gave me time to heal. You know, he said on our first anniversary, I think your ex-husband did me a favor. How so? He set you free for me. If it weren't for his stupidity, I'd never have met the most incredible woman in my life. I laughed. That's a pretty cynical take. Maybe, but I'm grateful for every trial that brought you to me. 5 years after the divorce, I got a message from an unknown number. It was Victoria Stone. Evelyn, I know I have no right to contact you, but I want to apologize. What I did was wrong. I ruined your marriage, and I'm so sorry. I stared at the message before replying. Victoria, you didn't ruin my marriage, My husband did when he chose you over me. You were just his choice. Thanks for the apology, but I don't need it. I forgave and moved on long ago. You're an incredible woman. David was a fool. Yes, he was, but it doesn't matter anymore. I want you to know it ended between us almost immediately after we lost our jobs. Our connection was built on adrenaline and secrecy. When it was exposed, the magic was gone. That's usually how it goes. I learned my lesson. I'll never get involved with a married man again. That's a wise choice. Evelyn, can I ask something personal? Go ahead. Are you happy? I looked at Marcus, humming as he cooked dinner. At the ring on my finger, we'd married 6 months ago. At a photo from our recent trip to Italy. Yes, I'm very happy. I'm glad. You deserve it. Recently, a woman recognized me in a store from a story I'd shared at a women's seminar. She approached and whispered, "Thank you for sharing your story. It gave me the strength to leave a man who lied to me for years." I've had many such conversations. My story of calmly and methodically exposing my husband's infidelity has inspired women to stop tolerating betrayal. "How did you stay so calm?" they ask. "How didn't you break?" I almost did, I admit. But I realized anger and hysterics wouldn't bring him back. Cold calculation, though, that helped me reclaim my life. Don't you regret not trying to save your marriage? No. You can only save what wants to be saved. My husband made his choice. I just helped him see it through. But doesn't love mean forgiveness? Love means respect, and respect can't survive without trust. When trust is completely gone, love becomes an illusion. As I write this, 7 years have passed since I saw David with Victoria on that TV screen. I'm married to Marcus, and we run a joint business, consulting for couples navigating relationship crises. Ironic? Maybe. But surviving betrayal taught me to read people better than most therapists. I can spot a lie from a mile away. I sense when someone's hiding something, and I help people make tough decisions about their relationships. Some couples we save, some we don't. And that's okay. Not all relationships are worth saving. David never remarried. Victoria, last I heard, married a widower in California and had a child. Life goes on for everyone. And me. I learned the most important lesson. Never let anyone make you feel less than you are. Don't settle for crumbs when you deserve the whole plate. And remember, revenge isn't always served hot. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply living well. When people ask if I regret ruining David's career, I answer honestly, I didn't ruin his career. I just made sure the truth came out. What he did with that truth was his choice. Truth has a funny way of surfacing. Sooner or later, I just sped it up a little. And you know what? I sleep soundly every night next to a man who loves the real me, who never lies to me, who chooses me every day. That's the real victory. Not revenge, not ruining someone's life, but building a new, better life for yourself. The end of the story? No, the start of a new chapter.